Hi, everybody. I'm Michael White with Bridging the Gap. I'm one of the instructors here with our Blueprint program. And today we are here with Faraz Khan, and was a participant who successfully achieved his ACBA certification. So today he's going to be sharing us a little bit about his story, his background, and what he feel that he got from the program. With that said, welcome, Faraz. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to be here, Michael.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm pretty excited to get you to share your story and learn a little bit more about you. So we're just going to dive right on into our questions for today. So first of all, just tell us a little bit about, several months back before you started the program, tell us about where you were in your career and what you were hoping to get out of the Blueprint program.
Yeah, sure. So prior to my current role, I had actually taken a bit of a non-traditional path coming out of college a little over 10 years ago. I actually decided to go the route of joining startups. And back in 2010, that was sort of like not really the thing to do, especially in the Midwest. But I took a risk. I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. Let me go join a startup. That's kind of what I thought. I actually ended up spending a lot of time after that startup building my own business in real estate investing and internet lead marketing for quite a number of years. I ended up back in some startups for a few years. And so with that sort of as a background, I kind of wanted to get further and further away from the entrepreneur route and the startups that I was working with. And I wanted to go to either a more professional company or a bigger company. And I needed to find a role where it allowed me to use my skills, but it's also a role that I could attain, right? I'm not coming in to become director of something. I was looking for a role, and that's where I found Bridging the Gap to help me figure out, what is what is it like to be a business analyst, and how do I get there?
Yeah, awesome. That's pretty cool. And it's interesting because the thing about business analysis is it's one of those professions where you can always pull some type of transferable skill from another industry. Like you said, you were an entrepreneur, you did in real estate, but there were still probably some skills that you utilize in those endeavors that you were able to utilize as a business analyst as well, right? Cool, excellent. So when you joined the program, tell us a little bit about, some of your experiences with the modules, as far as trying to transition from an entrepreneur to a business analyst or something of the like. Tell us about how some of those modules in the course helped you out with that.
Yeah, so, when I was looking for something to help kind of prepare me for this kind of role, I wanted something hands-on, and I wanted something that I could touch and feel, right? I can study and get a certification, pass a test and get a certification. I can do that, but I needed something to point to that gives me confidence, but also something that I can say, I know how to do this thing, right? And that thing is important to that job. So throughout the course, we had specific, modules that are very specific to a particular skill that you need to have. So for example, process diagramming. How do you map out a business process from start to finish? Oh, and by the way, how do you use the software to actually draw it out? Concept, okay, but the program actually, the homework assignments actually had me go through creating my own process diagram. And then sitting in on instructor-led sessions, we actually analyze other people's processes, and then I receive feedback on my specific diagram. So by learning the concept, doing the work myself, and then analyzing other people's diagrams, I got a real sort of holistic view of that particular skill. And now that's like actually my favorite skill that I use in my job today. Like having a conversation and then mapping it out in a lucid chart is like my favorite thing to do, and it's so valuable. But the course really helped me get through, like conceptually that's easy, but the course really helped me get through some of those like blockers of like how detailed does it need to be, right? I thought it has to be so technical, but actually there's a conceptual level, which is more in line with my business analyst skills, and helped me like kind of get unstuck and get over those little questions um,
Yeah.
so that I could actually just start using the tool in my job today. So, but that's probably the biggest thing that I benefited from the course. It was like the hands-on exercises with
Yeah.
feedback, and then analyzing um, other people's work as well.
Excellent. So it sounds like in terms of a key takeaway from the course, what would you say that was for you? Is it, what was one of the major takeaways in terms of maybe what you learned from the program, or maybe a takeaway in terms of what you learned from the program?
Yeah, I would say the main takeaway, and this was a blocker for me sometimes, is how there are different levels to business analysis. So this process diagram example, you could have a technical diagram that has 20 different, you know, 40 or 50 different steps in the process. And it's very mapped out to the exact thing that happens in the process or the software code. Okay, that's
Yeah.
very difficult to do when you're starting out, but it's also difficult for your stakeholders and colleagues to use. It's just overwhelming. And
Right.
so through the program, I started to understand that there's different levels of analysis. So you could start with a conceptual level with 5 or 10 steps just to have conversations, and when and how to go to those different levels through the exercises. That has been really helpful for me. And I would say that's the biggest key takeaway I got out of the program.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely powerful, right? Because, you always want to consider who your audience is when you're creating these deliverables, right? So, like you said, you don't want to have a deliverable that's overly technical if you're speaking to the business, right? And also, you don't want to have something that's too general so that people from the technical team, they don't know what to build, right? So you really need to know your audience, the appropriate level of detail, and how we can bridge the gap. Did you like the pun there? um, when we're communicating that. Awesome, great, thank you for that. Now tell us a little bit about where you are in your career now and how the program has helped you progress to your current state.
Yeah, so I'm currently a Salesforce consultant. I very much play the business analyst role on our project teams. So sometimes I'm leading the client through a project, and sometimes I'm in support of a more senior level consultant on a project. Um, kind of getting here. Before I was like, what role do I want? I zeroed in on this business analyst role. But I actually heard a podcast, one of the Bridging the Gap podcasts, where Laura interviewed Tony Martin, and she said something that really kind of clicked for me, was that she really enjoyed the business analyst role and the skills, but she wanted something that was more niche and focused so she could build a career around. And
Yeah,
she found the Salesforce path, and I had heard of Salesforce. And so I decided to look into that path further. And once I kind of opened up that door, I said, hey, I can use, I was a product manager and an entrepreneur in the past. I love the kind of work I do.
yeah,
I have these business analyst skills through this program, but also I can have a niche in a software called Salesforce where I don't have to be a developer to actually build something. And I said, well, this is
yeah,
it. This is what I want to do. And I want to be a consultant for other reasons. And kind of lo and behold, full circle, after going through the program, I ended up getting the Salesforce consulting position. And earlier this year, I was able to speak at the Salesforce Business Analyst Summit hosted by Tony Martin. And Laura was one of the other speakers at the conference as well. And here I am talking to you. So I feel like very much I was on the other side, and now I'm speaking with my instructors, and you were one of my instructors as well. So I feel really privileged to like go through the program, create a vision, and then now that I'm in this role, being able to like live that vision on the other side. It's hard to picture when you're on the other side, but kind of cross that
yeah.
bridge.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's amazing how, it all came together for you. So, you were involved with Bridging the Gap, and then you get connected with Salesforce with Tony. Tony was actually one of our instructors as well, and I instructed you. I was also a speaker at the summit. Now you were a speaker at the summit, so it's like this wonderful, support system in this, wonderful ecosystem within the business analysis space. So I think that's a very good testament of how omnipresent, Bridging the Gap is, as well. So I think that's a wonderful story for sure, for sure. Cool. Now, in terms of the outcomes of this, what does this mean for you? Like, how would you say this has impacted you personally, in terms of maybe your confidence, or maybe just how you view your role, or what you're
Yeah.
doing at Salesforce?
So before this course, it was like, I'm confident, I'm smart, but I didn't know my place in the job world. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a doctor, right? I don't have a technical skill. I was just like business guy, right?
Mhm.
Um, Now, although I'm not a programmer, I very much have systems thinking, and I also have the personal side of it where I can speak to the business and understand the business as well. Now, what the course gave me is actually something I could consider a technical skill, which is called business analysis. So now I know that what I'm bringing to the table on a project team, and that makes me feel like very confident. I don't have to like I worked in startups too, so it's like I don't have to like over
Yeah.
talk over people to get my way. I don't have to hide behind my lack of self-confidence and let my ego take over. I'm actually confident in my skills, and I feel like my ego has taken a step back, and I feel more confident in my ability to have a long-term successful career no matter what job I'm in, because I know, hey, I know this base level skills. I know I'm a business analyst. I know I can produce these kinds of assets, and I know how to accomplish very specific things on these kinds of projects. So that's what it's really kind of given to me, this course. And that's what long term, like business analysis, great. Salesforce, great. Consulting, great. Like I have a career path,
Yeah.
whereas before it was a very windy path.
That's awesome. That's great. I mean, I think that's what we are here to do, right? We're here to help give you some, a little bit of direction and clarity around, what you want to do, and understanding what the role is and how you can contribute to that role. So I think that, you definitely are a good fit for purpose, use case. So I'm very happy to hear that. I wish we were on the summit together. Like that would have been cool if we were speaking on the
Yeah.
same line. You and Laura got to speak together, but if all of us were there together, I think that would have been pretty
Well,
cool for
Laura
sure.
was in a separate talk.
Separate topic,
We were
yeah.
all in our own talks. Yeah, that would have been really cool to
In
be on a
the
panel. That would
same
have been really
lineup.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Awesome. Well, I think in terms of closing, do you have any thoughts or recommendations for anyone who might be interested in going down a similar path, who might be interested in joining the Blueprint, or who might be interested in transitioning from an entrepreneur in sales and real estate to the business analyst career? Any
Yeah,
thoughts?
yeah, totally. I've had this conversation with quite a few people. I recommended this course, very specifically because I couldn't find anything else that walks you through start to finish, actual skills and job training. Like these are actual things you'll do in an actual job. Plus, you get
Yeah,
a credential, which is you can showcase it. So, in terms of like
yeah.
getting training and being confident in doing the skills, um, to get a new job or to be better at your current job, like I absolutely got that out of this course. And so that's what I would recommend. If you're looking for actual training on best practices, not just like hacking away at it in your day job and you don't know if you're doing it right or wrong, this is a good
Mm.
course for that. And then business analysis, I mean, everything is touching technology now. Every process is being affected or supported by software. Um,
Right.
So whether you're a business user or a like business analyst, product manager type person, even if you're on the technical side or on the business side, like being able to articulate what you want or what a customer wants or what the business wants through these tools that the course gives you will help you as a business person or someone more on the technical side as well. So I think it's just a really, really, like, you need this skill to move
Yeah.
forward with
Yeah.
how technology is impacting every sort of business.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for us. I'm sure your story is going to inspire a lot of people. And it was such an honor speaking with you today. And again, I want to thank you so much for your time on behalf of myself and the entire Bridging the Gap team. And to everyone out there, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next round. Have a good one.